Hello, everyone. Welcome to a special spoiler filled discussion stream. The topic Godzilla vs. Kong. We finally live in a post Godzilla vs. Kong world. After years of waiting, like 10 different delays, pushbacks, push forwards, we finally have seen this movie. So, with that being said, the first question I'm going to ask you all tonight, aside from hello, of course, is what did everybody think of Godzilla vs. Kong? We'll just start the discussion right away. Sup, Kaiju fan? Sup, Fanboy 2002? Both surprising and disappointing. It was amazing. I loved it. Mike's Monster says it happened and it's real. We have GVK. 60 years. I adored it. Whoa, the chat's going too fast now. I can't keep up. I don't like it. It was paper thin. Ludicrously awesome. Big and dumb, and I loved it. Not enough character story. To be honest, it might be my least favorite movie in the series so far, but I still enjoyed it. Long time viewer, first time speaker. Well, glad to hear from you, Christopher Sayens. Sorry, I probably mispronounced that. Hello, Skidoo56. Godzilla vs. Monkey was pretty good. My girlfriend saw me fangirl, and I have a mental fanboy breakdown but it was good. Movie was so fun. Oh, Ryan Paul with the $14.99 super chat. Thank you so much. The movie is flawed but excellent. It does, however, pay tribute to the classic Showa series. I loved it. I can definitely agree with that sentiment to a certain extent. That my super chat alert, my dancing Godzilla alert takes way too long to appear. I hate it. Peter Version I'm just not even gonna pronounce that. Sorry. With the $4.99 super chat. Don't care what anyone says. Kong won. Kong fought against more creatures than Godzilla while he was in Hollow Earth. Godzilla was swimming. If we're talking about the actual Godzilla vs. Kong, then we all know who actually won that fight. Kong lost. WTF, he lost every time he fought Godzilla. Yeah. And that's what, I guess that'll be the first topic, the actual title bout. I was actually surprised by the outcome. Peter version 1. Oh, duh. Sorry. Without the spaces, I thought that I just read it as one long word. Like, I know that technically the idea of Godzilla vs. Kong is like, well, Godzilla's obviously would win because he's the more objectively powerful monster. But from a narrative standpoint, you expect Kong to win. Technically, he won in the original film, although I consider that to be a draw, but Toho says Kong won, so whatever. But from a narrative standpoint, Kong's the underdog, so you expect him to win. I expected him to win, and I was ready to accept that as a Godzilla fan. Team Godzilla, hashtag Team Godzilla. I was ready to accept that as long as the fight was good and it seemed like it was fair. But to my genuine surprise, not only did Godzilla win, but pretty much every fight between them was Godzilla dominated. Now that's not to say that wasn't able to get his hits in. He did, but the movie made it a point that those hits don't really do anything to Godzilla. Godzilla's like a rock. Kong just keeps hitting him, and it doesn't really do anything. Like, the best Kong can do is try to outrun his atomic breath, which he does a pretty good job with. And that axe does give him a good hit in there that causes them to win round two, as Dr. Lin says. But aside from that, Godzilla pretty much dominates the fight, and which is really surprising. And they did it in a way that created real tension, and because Kong is the main character, you're rooting for him, and when he loses, you actually are like really surprised. And I felt bad for Kong. I was like, come on, Godzilla, leave him alone already. The guy's not, like, especially towards the end after the Mecha Godzilla fight, it was just like Kong was having a rough day. I felt for him, and that's what the movie did really well. The actual Godzilla versus Kong, spectacular, both visually and from a narrative standpoint. Like, they nailed that. It's like almost perfect. I couldn't think of it being better than it actually is. Chinchilla Dave with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. I was expecting Mecha's arms to pop off and become Mecha skull crawlers. That would have been kind of cool. Never thought of that. I hated the Mecha Godzilla design. I don't hate it, but it's definitely my least favorite Mecha Godzilla design. It fits within this version, but it's too transformery looking, Michael Bay transformery looking for my taste. I prefer the old school. Godzilla didn't want to fight Kong since he was after Mecha Godzilla, so Godzilla got real mad when Kong wouldn't screw off. Yeah, he had like two motivations in this movie. Like, his main motivation was like, humans are up to something, I wanna get to the bottom of it. But then Kong is taken off Skull Island, so Godzilla's all like, yo, get back in your territory, bro. I love the part where Godzilla, this is probably my favorite part of the movie. If you had asked me like my favorite scene, obviously the fight I think is my favorite scene, but my single favorite moment would probably be when Godzilla, this is something he's never done before, so I'll give the movie credit for this. Godzilla literally digs a hole with his atomic breath from China to the center of the earth. That is some wacky, like, late Showa era Godzilla stuff, the equivalent of him like using his atomic breath to fly, or like pulling magnetism out of nowhere. You know, it's like so ridiculous, and he does it in like 10 seconds. It's hilarious, but it's kind of awesome. And he does it just to kind of smack talk Kong. He just looks down the hole and is just like, what are you doing? Come up here. And then Kong just looks back at him and calls him out back. So it's so ridiculous that it's great. And then Kong climbs up the hole in like another 10 seconds. Like, the physics in this movie, there are no physics. I love Godzilla's evil laugh after he blasted Kong in the air. Yeah, that was a great moment too. Butters V2 with $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I want to see the tournament arc with the rest of the Titans. Also, since this movie is pretty successful, you think Toho will keep sharing their toys? We'll see. I hear that they're trying to do their own thing with their own cinematic universe. That was like a couple years ago when they announced that, but we'll see. I'd like more content is good, so I'd like to see the MonsterVerse continue while Toho does their own stuff. Physics, what are those? Yeah, that's the thing about this movie more than the others. Like, it does not care at all about being realistic. Like, it's like every movie since Gareth Edwards' Godzilla has gotten more cartoony to the point where now it's literally a Saturday morning cartoon. It's like a Godzilla the series extended episode. Instead of being 20 minutes, it's an hour and 40 minutes. I wish they would have lingered on Godzilla and Kong parting ways at the end. It just kind of cuts away to Godzilla in the water. Yeah, and that's a critique I have with this movie too. It moves too fast. You think I critiqued King of the Monsters for moving too fast? Godzilla vs. Kong doesn't dwell on anything. And that's probably my biggest beef with the movie, is that it's just chopped. It's chopped to hell, basically, to the point where you have characters like Ren Serizawa, who is given nothing. This is a character whose actor is given 5th billing in the credits. If you look at the credits, he's 5th billed. That's pretty high up on the cast list. And he has like 4 lines in the movie. And he does nothing. It is so obvious that this character, his entire arc was chopped from the movie. And that's what I don't like about Godzilla vs. Kong. It feels like, I don't know if anybody here follows my Twitter feed, but I posted today about how it might be my least favorite of the MonsterVerse because it feels like it was the most studio interfered with. Like, they came in, they saw the reaction to King of the Monsters, and that it was both critically poorly received, and it didn't make a lot of money at the box office, which is a double recipe for failure, and studios freak out when that happens. So what did they do? Well, they had extra time because they pushed the movie back. So they looked at the reception, and they decided, cut everything. People don't care about the human characters in this movie. Cut it all. Doesn't matter if it makes the narrative kind of make no sense when you really get down to it, which it doesn't. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if characters appear and then disappear, like poor Lance Reddick, who has 2 lines in the whole movie. This is a pretty well-known, like, not like super A-list actor, but he's fairly well-known. Does nothing. It drew me out of the movie when he popped up. I was like, what? Lance Reddick? Oh yeah, he's supposed to be in this movie. And then he just goes away. And that's my biggest problem with this movie. It just, compared to the others, it just feels like a big summer blockbuster movie. And for that, it's really entertaining, and the fight is awesome. It's got the best fights and the best action scenes in the series. But as a movie, it's the weakest. You thought the characters in the other movies were thin? It's calling these characters is actually stretching it. After the people making these movies seem to be responding to what fans are saying somewhat, after 2014 Godzilla, they added more monster fights. After King of Monsters, they made the fight scenes clear. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they given the extended time for post-production, because this movie was done filming in like 2019. Early 2019, I think. So they had 2 years of post-production. I wouldn't be surprised if they went back and tweaked things and made things clear. Like, I wouldn't be surprised with that. I'm sure they were clear already, because Adam Wingard has said that that's his style, and I believe it, considering I've seen a couple of his movies and he really likes his neon, so I'm not surprised by that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they really like made it a priority to make the fights clear, which is a genuine critique, and I'm glad they did it. I don't remember any of the character names, and I just watched this movie. Yeah, like, I couldn't remember them either, really. John Bray with $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Any idea what was up with the weird portal they go through when they follow Kong to the Hollow Earth? Also, thoughts on the monsters in the Hollow Earth, early destroy it theory? That portal was just there because it's cool. That's basically the philosophy of this entire movie, is it's cool. Which isn't really a bad thing, I guess, at the end of the day. Again, I always have to remind myself, this is supposed to be a kid's movie. I mentioned that in my first impressions video, is that this is a movie meant to capture the imagination of children, which is a part of the history of the franchise, so you can't fault it for that. Godzilla movies were made for kids, especially back in the day, so. And then I asked myself, well, if I was a kid and this movie came out, would I like it? And the answer is, of course I would. I would have watched it a million times. I would have bought or asked my parents to buy every single toy they could find. I would have ate this movie up. It would have been amazing. And so, if this movie gets a ton of kids into Godzilla and Kong and stuff, then that's cool. That's great. Doesn't excuse the movie for having kind of a crap plot, but, you know, it's not the first Godzilla movie to have that, so it's just another entry in a long-running franchise when you really get down to it. What makes it historic is, of course, it's Godzilla vs. Kong. And then that And in that aspect, it really, really delivered. So I have a lot of contrasting thoughts of this movie. I have some things that I really don't like about it, and I have some things that I really do like about it. Mainly the monster stuff. Okay, we got 2 super chats. CB96 with $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Do you think they'll make another one? Oh man. Maybe. Peter version 1 with 4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Ren Sarazawa after being killed while on a machine. Imagine if he was made into Jet Jaguar and he was 100% control. That would be a wacky plot twist, and it really wouldn't be any crazier than anything they've done in this series now. Sorry, I missed the last one now. This chat's going too fast. Tristan Terrell, $5 super chat. Thank you. I just love Godzilla in this film. He is old self again, and I love the choreography Godzilla moved when he fought, and I really did love Mecha-G. Yeah, Godzilla was a savage in this movie. Like, he did not play around. Well, he did kind of play around, but then at some point, he was not playing around anymore, and that's when he beat Kong. Like, that moment when he went total, like, crocodile on Kong, that was so cool. That's something that you could not do with Suitmation, and that's taking advantage of the new technology and doing things that we've never seen this character do before. It's making him feel real and like a real animal. He gets enough force, and he's, like, acting like kind of like a serpent and a crocodile. It's just really cool. Kenny Heron with $3.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Am I the only one mad that Kong grew to 300 feet? He has to in order to have a fighting chance against Godzilla. So they did it back in the 60s. You got to do it this time. It just comes with the concept. Zapzaz7, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Hey man, you're my favorite kaiju tuber. I was wondering if the MonsterVerse does continue, what films would you want to see? I mean, I'd like to see a Godzilla Kong team-up movie. I think that's a logical way to take this series, is have them be, like, bros. That'd be cool, and that's something we haven't seen before. But it depends. Apparently the contract with Legendary is up, so they have to get a new contract with Toho. So I don't know if that's gonna happen, if that's ever gonna happen. But as much as people want the MonsterVerse to continue, and they see the positive box office, and they say, "Oh, it'll definitely continue," it's really up to Toho. Like Toho and Legendary, which I hear their parent company Wanda is having financial issues. So there's a lot of external forces that are gonna make this process more complicated than we'd like it to be. So as much as we like the idea of the MonsterVerse kind of being like secure now because it was a box office success, it's not secure. There's a lot of things they got to deal with, so fingers crossed. Coming in late, so I don't know if this is brought up. Did the movie insinuate that all the other Titans were killed off? I don't know. That's one of my critiques with the movie, is that King of the Monsters ended with like this world of monsters, and then Godzilla vs. Kong kind of just like never acknowledges that. Like, where are they? Like, I don't expect Rodan and Mothra or the Behemoth or any of the other monsters to be in the movie necessarily, but give me a sense of this world here. Like, what is the world like in a post King of the Monsters world? King of the Monsters changed the world even more so than Godzilla 2014 did. So can we get a sense of that, please? Can I get a sense of what this world is like? No, we don't have time for that. Move on to the next thing, because that's what the general audience doesn't want. They just want to get to the Godzilla fighting Kong thing. And that was a wise box decision by the studio, because clearly it's resonating with audiences. So people like us who care about this stuff a lot, we're going to see this movie regardless. So appealing to the general masses is what they want more than anything. And that's why they chopped it down. And it appeared to have worked. So John Brave, $5 super chat. Thank you. Buddy Cop Godzilla Kong would be pretty hilarious. Thoughts on the Hollow Earth monsters? I thought they were all pretty cool, especially the Warbat. Very Cobra from Godzilla, the series. Dutiful59, $5 super chat. I really liked Mechagodzilla here. He was savage brawler, elbows, knees, kicks, and a walking armada. The way he took G apart was insane, and he was so much taller than our boy. King Kong's fatality was chef's kiss. Yeah, that was another thing this movie gave us, was that Kong fighting Mechagodzilla. We've never gotten that before. That was pretty cool. Uh, Buttriz V2, $2 super chat. Thank you. Use Hollow Earth to the max and bring Megalon back. Megalon and Zootopia. We have the Underwater Kingdom and King of the Monsters, so let's bring in Zootopia. The King of the Fat, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Do you think the anti-nuclear message of the original Godzilla still holds up today? Oh yeah, I think it's timeless. Considering we're always kind of on the brink of, like, when you really think about it, we kind of are. It's like this tenuous agreement with all the nuclear countries of the world. Like, we could destroy each other at any moment. So as long as that's the case, Godzilla will always be relevant. I'm starting to think you need some moderators. The chat is way too chaotic. Yeah, I wasn't necessarily anticipating this many people. King of the Fat, $5 super chat. On an unrelated note, what are your thoughts on the Star Wars sequel trilogy? Thought Force Awakens was fun. Last Jedi, half of it was garbage, and then the third film was garbage. Did I like Godzilla's awesome smile? Yeah, that was funny. I mean, it wasn't, like, funny. I didn't laugh at it, but it gave him character. In, like, a humorous way. I like all the Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 1974 references. Yeah, I love the Beam Clash. Gotta have the Beam Clash. That's a time-honored tradition with Godzilla fighting Mechagodzilla. What do I think of Gia's relationship with Kong? The best human element of the movie. I mean, it never really, like, got to me or anything like that, but it was good to have it there. And she's the best character and the best actress. Like, if she wasn't in there, this movie would, like, have nothing in terms of any, like, character or emotional heart to it. I felt so sorry for Kong. Yeah, at the end when he, like, backs himself up against the buildings because Godzilla's coming at him, he has this look on his face like, please just leave me alone. I cannot fight anymore. And I felt so bad for him. Because he looked like hell. Duval59, $5 super chat. Do you think it's problematic that Serizawa, a Japanese man whose dad died in Hiroshima bombing, saved the day by detonating a nuke? Bothers me. I mean, I'm not gonna get into it, but it's a little more complicated. I could see where you're coming at it from that angle, but if you listen to a podcast I did on the Monster Island Film Vault, we kind of get into that a little bit with the Omniviewer, so I'd recommend that if you want to hear some extended thoughts on that. I literally can't keep up with all these super chats, guys. Like, I'm sorry if I don't get to them. I'm gonna try my best, but... Zapzaz7, $5 super chat. I noticed the monsters were very expressive in this film. Do you prefer Godzilla more human-like or an emotive, or rather him be a stoic force of nature? It really depends on the film. In a movie like Godzilla vs. Kong, I would like him to be a character, just like in the original. He's very much a character. He claps with glee when he inflicts pain and stuff, so that's the type of movie you want to have him be a character, but like in a movie like Shin Godzilla, where he's kind of just like this blank, emotionless force of nature, it's appropriate for that story. So it really does depend on the story that's being told. Sorry, I'm just getting this. CB96 with $2 super chat. Do you have a time frame for the legit review? I'd say expect it out within the next month or so. I don't like to. I guess I technically do that with a lot of movies where I just watch it for the first time and review it. So I guess expect it within the next month or so. Like an unofficial review with like footage and a star rating and everything. Creature Soul 446 with a $5 super chat. Anyone else sad that they didn't have the usual rumble trill at the end of Godzilla's roar? That's my favorite part of the legendary Godzilla's roar. I mean, I think they had it in there sometimes. Are you talking about like the like at the end of the roar? I think they have that in there. What do I think of Ren Serizawa? Like that's like the worst aspect of the film. You gonna do my boy Serizawa bad like that? And what boggles my mind is that hold on. Oh my god, there's too much in this chat. That impression is godly. Thanks, Skidoo. Buddha Fuka, $5 super chat. They seem to make this movie with some finality just in case they couldn't renew the rights. Do you think of this as a final movie in the series? Yeah, they did that on purpose. And as a final movie, considering how fast it moves, I would be kind of disappointed if that's considered the finale. Because it didn't have like the grand kind of big epic feel to it that I would prefer for a big finale. But I mean, if that's the final one, oh well. Creature Soul 446, $5 super chat. Anyone else sad they didn't have the wait, you said that already. Liked King of the Monsters better, but felt GVK had better fight scenes. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at with it. Anyway, back to Serizawa. What baffles me about that character usage is that, like they cut so much from it. But they kept the name. Like you could have, his name is said twice in the film. You could have just gone back in post and changed his name to Ren Sekizawa or something, or completely different, and it would have been fine, and it wouldn't have drawn attention to itself. But they kept the name. Like I don't understand. Like it's such an easy tweak to do. If you're gonna literally kill the character by giving him nothing, then make it not so like connected to the previous films and just make it an original character. Box Suta with $5 super chat. Thank you so much. You think Toho would have a problem with Godzilla emoting in GVK? No, not at all. Considering they're the first ones to make Godzilla emote. Toho's been making Godzilla a goofy, a silly goofball since the 60s. Sekizawa is a reference to Shiniki Sekizawa. Yeah, that name just popped up in my head. But yeah, they could have done that. That would have been nice. Honestly, I thought it was the best yet. Action was 10-10. The humans aren't dumb except for the Madison team, which are clearly made to be dumb. Godzilla and Kong are the best selves and so expressive. Yeah, that's another thing. Not really a fan of the Madison podcast team up plotline. Like, just didn't really do it for me. And then it culminates with them pouring, like they help defeat Mechagodzilla by pouring liquor on a computer console. Like, really? Are you kidding me? It's stupid. And also, that's also something you could have cut out because it actually doesn't do anything. Like, it makes Mechagodzilla kind of go, ugh. It stops for a bit, but he's still fighting. It's dumb. Also, I don't think it works that way, but this movie doesn't care about being logical, so I'm nitpicking. I thought Team Kong was better. Yeah, that storyline was a lot more engaging. Hollowworth was super cool. I would have liked to have been in there more, and apparently they were in there longer in the extended cut or whatever you want to call it, but that was cut too. So a lot was cut in this movie. Great to see the monsters duke it out, but an extra 30 to 45 minutes of the character development would have really helped the character side of the story. See, I understand when Adam Wingard says that he wanted the movie to be like under 2 hours, like that's the way he likes to make movies, and I don't doubt him when he says that, because if you look at his past movies, they all are under 2 hours. So I don't doubt that, but I'm not asking for 30 minutes of character stuff. I'm asking for maybe 10 minutes. You know, that's not that much, which would have made the movie about as long as the other films. Sean Cobb with $5 super chat, thank you. I had a blast with this movie, but I wasn't too crazy about how overpowered Mechagodzilla was against Godzilla. I mean, I could kind of see that, but that's historically kind of always been the way Mechagodzilla is in relation to Godzilla, is he's always been like a super OP opponent. Like if you go back to the original film, like Godzilla needs to team up with King Caesar to beat him. Although he does beat him by himself in Terror of Mechagodzilla, so it really just depends. But maybe he was a little OP, but I wasn't too bothered by it. I just chalk it up to Godzilla being really tired from fighting Kong already. Darren Russell with $9.99 super chat, thank you so much. I'll admit I'm more of a casual G fan, but I've been watching your content because I think your passion for the franchise is awesome. Keep up the awesome work. Well, thank you, Darren. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate the super chat. Toast Burnt Dark, $4.99 super chat. I think I didn't like it because Mechagodzilla. I think he looked terrible. It's my favorite Godzilla villain, so it's a shame he looked bad. Yeah, I could see how, if you like the classic Mechagodzilla, how this one could disappoint you. I'm not a big fan of the design either, but it doesn't really bother me. It fits with the style of the series, so. Alden Tolbert with $1.99 super chat. Need a new Mothra movie. I agree. Either Toho can make it or do a legendary Mothra movie. Next in the Monsterverse, the Giant Claw. Heck yeah. Kiryu or Mechagodzilla 2021? Kiryu, definitely. There were some pretty insane camera movements that I absolutely loved. Yeah, that was another thing this movie did well. It had some really cool creative camera angles. In the ocean fight, when Kong falls, the camera actually does it flips through the water and then comes back up. And then Kong, in the same shot, gets up and punches Godzilla in the face. That was really cool. And there's also that shot where our three leads are in the heave and they come out of the hollow earth and they fly by Kong and then they fly by Godzilla and they go under this atomic breath. That's a shot straight off a ride. And I even thought that I was watching. I was like, this could be a Universal ride or something where you're in a heave going into the hollow earth and you see all these cool creatures and everything, and then you encounter Kong and maybe he fights Godzilla. Godzilla versus Kong the ride. They could do it. It's right there. The concept is in the movie. You could just take it directly. Tree Life Productions with a $1 super chat. Thank you. Well, his message was rejected, so I don't know what he was saying. Or them, I should say. Why does Godzilla's dorsal plates keep changing? I mean, they only changed the one time. But it's really just because Godzilla's design always changes, and you just have to accept it. I feel like if they made a full movie exploring the Hollow Earth, that would have been a lot of potential. Yeah, I wish the movie would have been more dedicated to that. Less podcast stuff and more Hollow Earth stuff, please. Tree Life Productions with $2 super chat. Thank you again. John Bray with $10 super chat. Thank you. What did you think of the music choice? As in, the music tracks they put in the movie, or Junkie XL score? As for the former, don't really have an opinion about it. It's fine. As for Junkie XL score, I found it to be okay. I think it's either number at the bottom or kind of in line with Kong Skull Island's score. I'm not quite sure. It's definitely not as good as the Godzilla scores. Alexander Desplat and Bear McCree, their scores are way better, way more memorable. Like, it's not even a contest. I'd love to see Godzilla and Kong fight in the low gravity in the Hollow Earth. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Although it'd be kind of similar to them fighting underwater in terms of like their movement, but it would be different in terms of like the aesthetic of it, with the rocks floating around them and everything. That'd be cool. A MonsterVerse ride in Universal Studios theme parks. What do you think? I think it'd be a great idea. Probably not going to do it, but they can just steal from this movie, and it would work. Gamera for the MonsterVerse? I mean, sure, but it belongs to a different company, and they're never going to get the rights to that, so. Tree Life Productions with $2 super chat. Who was your favorite of the MonsterVerse directors? Well, 2014 is my ekes it out as my. I kind of like them all a bit equally, with except for Godzilla vs Kong, it might be a little lower, but 2014 ekes it out as my favorite. So I guess I would go with Gareth Edwards. I just like his slow burn approach. I know it doesn't work for a lot of people, and that's fine. But personally speaking, that movie edges out the other ones a little bit because that movie actually does things like build tension and have like epic set pieces with proper scale, and it doesn't just throw you into the action. It tries to be properly epic, and I really appreciate that about it. It doesn't always succeed from a narrative standpoint. I just made a video about rewriting Godzilla 2014, so obviously it's not perfect, but in terms of just the aesthetic of it and the style of Gareth Edwards, it's probably my favorite. Mr. Dinosaur Man with $5 super chat. Thank you. Did you see Edwin's tweet? Think a new big budget Godzilla game is more of a possibility post GBK? Yeah, I saw that. I mean, NetherRealm Studios is owned by Warner Brothers, I think. So they could make a monster fighting game. That'd be cool. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm all for it. We need more Godzilla games. We need more Kong games, too. Johnny Roberts with $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. What would you like to see Toho do with Godzilla? I mean, right now I'm happy with what they're doing with the anime stuff. I've watched the first 2 episodes of Singular Point, and so far, I'm digging it a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing where the narrative goes. So, and the animation is gorgeous. Like, if you had a problem with the style and the anime trilogy, you're gonna love Singular Point. It's so good. Like, the animation is so good. Every frame of it is just looks amazing. Kaiju Not $4.99 super chat. What do you think about Legendary doing a separate Gameraverse film series? I'd rather the studio that makes Gamera films just start making them themselves. Then maybe you can do a big. I just don't think the audience is there. I'd rather them just, like, they already make great films. The last 4 Gamera films have been great, so just let them make their own stuff. I don't need Legendary to make it. Muffin Man 842 with £9.99. Not English dollars. Thank you very much. What if Ghidorah's skull was actually put in Mechagodzilla and the Hollow Earth energy activated his regeneration and his 2 heads later burst out of the sides and became Mecha King Ghidorah slowly? That'd be interesting. I've never thought of it that way. Sounds ridiculous, but we're already at that point with the MonsterVerse, so why not? Am I hyped for Mortal Kombat? I wouldn't say hyped, but I'm definitely looking forward to watching it. I saw the trailer in front of Godzilla vs. Kong. Big Mac with $10 super chat. Are you scared that the MonsterVerse might end up like Bayformers? I mean, to be honest, it kind of already is, just with all the, like, obnoxious characters and overly long run times. Not English dollars. Stop making fun of me, Skidoo. Katakawa has no faith in Gamera. Seems like it. They haven't made another movie since 2004? 5? I just read, but did you like the movie? I liked a lot of elements of it and am iffy about other elements of it. The monster stuff is awesome. Everything else around it is, depending on what we're talking about, okay to just, I'm not particularly fond of it. The Millie Bobby Brown podcast plotline, don't really like that much. Whereas the Hollow Earth plotline with Kong and Dr. Lind and Andrews and all that is decent, although it's still really not much there, but it's okay. The podcaster said there were 2 Ghidorah skulls, but only one left from King of the Monsters, the one that was ripped off from Mexico. Yeah, that's like a plot hole. That's what I thought when I heard that. I was like, wait, there's 2 Ghidorah skulls? Where'd they get the second one? Ghidorah was blown into nothing by Godzilla in King of the Monsters. There's no chance for there to be another head. So where'd they pull that out? Are you unhappy with the move from rubber suits to CGI? You strike me as a purist. No, I'm not a purist at all. Now, if you had like a gun to my head and said choose, I guess I'd probably go traditional. But I like there's a freedom in using computer graphics to bring these characters to life that Suitmation just doesn't let you do. Again, the best example is when Godzilla gets on all fours during his fight with Kong and starts biting at his feet like an alligator. That's something we've never seen Godzilla do before, and you couldn't do it with a suit. You can't. Not unless you use like a suit with a combination of computer graphics, but it's still computer graphics. And then same thing with the way Kong dodged Godzilla's atomic breath. Like, he's very agile. He's using the buildings as kind of like an obstacle course to dodge the atomic breath. And it's very agile and visually like all over the place, and you can't do that with Suitmation. You just can't. So I like CGI, and I think this movie does a really good job bringing the characters to life with CGI. Kong has there's a lot of like the detail in his eyes is amazing. There's so much character behind him, and same with Godzilla, but a little less so because he's naturally being a reptile. He's less expressive. Zach Renegade with $5 super chat. Thank you so much. If you could write the next MonsterVerse movie, assuming it happens, what would you make it about? What classic monster would you bring back? I guess off the top of my head, I do Godzilla and Kong teaming up against Destroya. And I'd also throw in a couple more Toho monsters in there, like Anguirus or something. That was the missing head. Ghidorah regenerated another head when he perched on the volcano and absorbed the energy there. I know he regenerated another head, but how do you get the second skull? Well, there's only one left in the ocean when Godzilla ripped it off. King of the Monsters is still my favorite, but GVK was amazing. It definitely was amazing in terms of like the actual fight. That didn't disappoint in the slightest. I just feel like the movie could have used some breathing room, even more so than King of the Monsters. I had a problem with that movie too, and it's even more so with this one. Destroy All Monsters remake with Destroya? Yeah, bring it on. In the novelization, Jonas sells the head to Apex. And also, okay, I don't understand the motivation behind that, because he's an eco-terrorist. Why is he selling the head to like a gross cyber corporation that's going to use it to like propel mankind to make them the apex predator? That's against his motivation in King of the Monsters, where he wanted to wipe out humanity to benefit the earth. Like, those are two contrasting motivations. It doesn't make any sense. Whatever. He's not even in the movie, so it's not even a plot element. That's what I'm saying. This movie's super sloppy with this continuity because I really do believe they cut out everything they could to make it to distance it from King of the Monsters. It doesn't do it completely. It's almost like a little Justice League in terms of the way they're trying to like. They saw the bad reception to King of the Monsters, so they like kind of they didn't reshoot it like Justice League, but they went back in the edit and they said, let's cut everything we can to reference back to King of the Monsters, so that this movie can be a standalone thing and we don't have to refer back to the movie that didn't do well at the box office and a lot of people didn't like. And also, that's why Monarch is like barely a presence in this movie. Like technically they are part of the movie. They're wearing Monarch gear in the Hollow Earth journey, but it just doesn't feel like it's part of the Monarch organization. And that's why character like Zhang Ziyi's character was completely cut out. Lance Reddick is supposed to be the director of Monarch. He was cut out. Jessica Henway's character was cut out. Like so many characters got cut out, and I feel really bad for them. Imagine putting in a performance in this movie and then discovering your entire character was cut. It's just so. I just feel bad for them. It feels disrespectful, to be honest. And I know characters get cut, but this movie has a lot of cut characters. I missed the super chat. I'm gonna go back to it. Do you think Eldon Tolbert with $4.99 super chat? Do you think Legendary could make MonsterVerse movies without either Toho or Kong, for example? Classic monster movies from the past. It wouldn't be the same because like, Godzilla is a pillar of the franchise. You can't have MonsterVerse without Godzilla. So no, I don't believe that. They can make a Kong movie, but it's just not gonna be the same. Do you think an extended cut of GVK should be released to expand on the characters? I believe yes, but from what I understand, that's never going to happen because Adam Wingard is saying this is his cut. And I don't necessarily like not believe him, but I just believe that if the studio, I believe the studio said, make this movie as unconnected to King of the Monsters as you can to make it like a standalone movie. I believe in Adam Wingard's cut, it would still be a pretty short movie, but you'd have at least a little more character stuff and a little more connective tissue. But I don't know anything. I could be completely wrong. I don't want to speak for Adam Wingard. Only he knows. This is just me guessing. GVK cuts out the fat. It doesn't try to make a statement, which King of Monsters did. The goal should be to have a message and do it right, but GVK is the next best thing. I mean, as I said in my first impressions video, this is only my opinion, but I'm a Godzilla dork. I like to have a little meat to my ridiculousness. Even the Showa films, for as ridiculous as they are, have a message, except for some, like Megalon. That's nothing. Actually, no, that's not true. It's just really hackneyed and stupid, but Zootopia wanting to release Megalon to punish mankind for their atomic testing, it's still there. It's just really, really, like, not well done at all. But even Godzilla vs. Gigan has some stuff going on underneath. This movie doesn't have anything. I want at least something. I'm not expecting... Silly movies can have some thematic stuff going on too. So I like to have a little meat to chew on in my silly monster movies. I don't necessarily need it, but I would prefer it. So it is a knock on the movie for me, but if you like it because it doesn't have any of that, that's totally fine too. KC the Man 9 with 19.99 super chat. Thank you so much. The series has regressed in every film since Godzilla 2014. I don't necessarily agree with that because I like Kong Skull Island and King of the Monsters. They're just different. GVK is the only one where I have some significant issues in terms of regressing from what had been done before. And again, I very much believe that's because it's a reaction to Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is the type of movie that is about pure escapism for people who are stressed out and want to break from life. Oh, I totally understand that. That's what the movie is doing well, and I think it came out at the perfect time. This movie's benefiting from coming out at a perfect time. But you can have fun and still have some thematic stuff going on. I don't think if Godzilla vs. Kong had a little something to say about humanity's relationship to nature like the other films did, that I think people would have been like, oh, this movie's too serious. I'm stressed out in life right now. This movie's too serious. I don't like it anymore. Heh heh 316 with $5 super chat. Thank you very much. I hope they do make another movie and have them introduce space monsters. I would want Gigan and Ghidorah to team up against Godzilla, Kong, and Mothra. Yeah, that would be fun. Maybe make this Ghidorah's brother or something. I don't know. You killed my brother. I've come to get revenge on you. My brothers, I should say. And then he brings his buddy Gigan, and so Godzilla's got to team up with his old partner Mothra and his new bro Kong to fight. My message didn't send in the super chat, but I was wondering if you would rather have the monsters continue through Legendary or Toho go back to live action Godzilla movies. Honestly, I like where we're at now, where Legendary is making the live action, more traditional stuff, and Toho does the animation stuff. I would like it if we stayed that way, but if Toho wants to make live action movies, then that's their prerogative. So, and I'd be excited for that too. I might have to go soon. The chat is just super chaotic and everything I wanted to talk about has been discussed. Thanks for the stream taps. I'm sorry I couldn't stay longer. No problem, Skidoo. Thanks for stopping in as always. Yeah, I mean, I was expecting this whoa, there's almost 400 viewers in this stream. Holy crap. I was expecting the stream maybe a little bigger than normal, but I wasn't expecting this many people. Godzilla Kong team up would be so cool. I would love for the relationship to develop. Yeah, me too. I think that's what they should go with it. If they get Toho to give them back the rights to Godzilla to continue on, do a Godzilla and Kong bromance movie. Bromance. Emphasis on bromance. Do I think this movie should have been 3 or 4 hours long? Oh, absolutely not. I don't even think it should have been. I think about being the same length as the other films would have been perfect. I'm not asking for or that I wanted like a 3 hour long movie. Just, maybe have a villain that actually has some motivation. Maybe give me a little more character nuggets here and there. I'm not asking you to stop the movie to make Dr. Lind the super deep character or anything, but maybe just a little bit. What do you think of Biollante being in the next movie? What do you mean? You say that as if that's confirmed. If you're saying that as like a hypothetical, I think that would be cool. Biolante's only been in one movie, so it'd be nice to see her again. Do you think Mothra and Rodan will ever return in a future potential MonsterVerse movie? Again, it depends if Toho gives them the rights. Again, they license these by character, so it's not like they just give Godzilla, the franchise as a whole, to Legendary. They give them by character. So first they got Godzilla, then when Godzilla 2014 was a success, they're like, can we have Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra? And Toho said, sure. And then they did the same thing for Mechagodzilla. So in order to bring these characters back, they'd have to get the license not only for Godzilla, which again is expired, from what I understand. They'd have to get it for Mothra, Ghidorah, Rodan, all these characters. They'd have to renew the license. So you can see why. I'm gonna say don't get your hopes up if you ever want to see these versions of these characters again. Just accept that you might never. That way, if they do pop up again, you can be pleasantly surprised instead of disappointed. Big Mac with $5 super chat. Would you consider the film to be a disapproving commentary on tech firms entering the world of warfare? No. I don't see. That's stretching to me. Maybe in the extended cut that's there, but I just, in this present version of the film, it's just bad guy creates robot Godzilla because Godzilla could potentially destroy us, and they want to be the apex predator again. They want to replace him. Again, this movie is like a Saturday morning cartoon in terms of its like narrative logic. Bad guys are bad guys because they bad. Toho and Legendary are officially quiet. Do you think they're making another contract on the background? I have no idea. That's my honest answer. I could guess, but... Hello, your content is great. Greetings from Chile. Thank you, Silver Bros. Love my background music. Yeah, I just have the Megalon soundtrack playing in the background. It's good, chill stream music. Backstory on the storm that killed most of Skull Island. That's another thing. I was like, dang, you disrespecting the natives of Skull Island. Those were some decent people, and you just casually killed them off screen? That's cold. Do I believe we haven't recovered from TriStar's Godzilla? No, absolutely not. We've recovered. We've long recovered from that. That wound is utterly sealed and healed completely, and we're moving on. We've long moved on. Do I like Legendary's bulky Godzilla design? Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Have been able to read any of the MonsterVerse prequel comics. I read the original one that came out when 2014 came out. Other than that, I have not read them. Casual genocide of the Iwi, no problem. Or no deal, yeah. Mixmaster114, $10 super chat. I know I'm in the minority, but I found the movie pretty mediocre. Sure, it has amazing fights and fantastic CGI, but I'm baffled by how low we set the bar for kaiju movies in this day and age. Look, I can enjoy the movie as a brainless monster beat 'em up brawl, but I understand where you're coming from. I really do. If this wasn't a Godzilla movie, we would probably be critiquing it in the same way we did like Pacific Rim Uprising or something. It feels like that type of movie. But we don't, because it's a Godzilla vs. Kong movie. There is a little, not hypocrisy, can't think of the word, but we kind of just put up with it. And I don't know if that's a valid stance to take. Manuel Villarreal with $5 super chat. Sorry if I butchered that name. I'm relatively new to Godzilla. What films from the original era could you suggest that are similar tonally to the MonsterVerse films? No cheese. First of all, thank you for the super chat. Suggestions, non-cheesy Godzilla movies. Well, obviously the original, the very first film. I would do that one. I would do Mothra versus... You're going to get a little cheese, so I'm going to be honest here. A little. Just because the movies are old and they're dated to a certain extent. So just expect that. But I would go with the original, Mothra versus Godzilla. Maybe Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster, and Invasion of Astro Monster. Invasion of Astro Monster is pretty cool. It's still kind of cheesy because the Exilian designs are kind of dorky looking. It's very, it's very 60s sci-fi. But, it's not too cheesy. And then Strom Monsters isn't that cheesy either. So those are the ones I'd suggest, actually. I'd suggest Son of Godzilla, but that movie kind of is cheesy. So I'd go original, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Invasion of Astro Monster, Destroy Monsters. Well, he said original era, so that's why I didn't say GMK. Alden Tolbert with $1.99 super chat. What is your favorite non-Toho or Kong monsters? I think I've said this in the stream before, but I really like the Rhedosaurus from Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and the Ymir is what it's called, I think, from 20 Million Miles to Earth. CJ Kid 1231 with $5 super chat. Where would you rank this Mecha Godzilla amongst the other ones? It's my least favorite. I don't hate it, but it's just if I were to rank them, it would just be my least favorite. There's always got to be somebody at the bottom, and that's the one. I really like classic Mechagodzilla. Am I liking Godzilla vs Kong in the wrong way? Because I like it as a series, but serious but monster action film in other people's minds, they like it as a dumb fun blockbuster. So am I liking it the wrong way? I feel like I'm reading that wrong. Oh, you're saying that you like it serious, but other people like it dumb. No, there's no wrong way to like anything. If you, like, there are serious monster movies and there's silly ones, and if you like the serious ones more, then that's totally a valid opinion. This is coming from a guy who also feels that way. I prefer my monster movies taken a little more seriously. I can enjoy the silly ones. Again, some of my favorites are objectively terrible movies, like Godzilla vs. Megalon, the soundtrack of which you are listening to right now. But at the end of the day, I like my movies to have a little bit of gravitas to them, where they take themselves a little seriously, at least a little bit. You prefer anime Mechagodzilla over Monsterverse? Oh, I didn't even think of that because I don't even know if I count that as Mechagodzilla. It's Mechagodzilla City. All he is a city of like nanotechnology in that movie. That doesn't count. If it had ever assembled into an actual Mechagodzilla, I would count it, but it doesn't. So no, I don't. And if we're going to include that, then yeah, that would be my least favorite. That will always be my least favorite. So I gotta tell you what your opinion on Ghidorah-controlled Mechagodzilla. What's my opinion on Ghidorah-controlled Mechagodzilla? That's another element of the movie I would have liked to have expanded on a bit, because I think that's actually a really cool idea. The idea that technically this might be a rematch between Godzilla and Ghidorah. It's just that Ghidorah's consciousness is in Mechagodzilla, and that's what causes Mechagodzilla to be utterly ruthless to Godzilla, because he's like, "You killed me," and so he's just like taking all his anger out on him. That's cool, and you can read that into the scene if you want, but it's very glossed over, so you're kind of probably reading into it too much. But it is there, and I would have liked to have expanded on that concept a little more, because it's actually a really cool concept. Did you know the novel for GVK provides more of a backstory for underused characters? Yeah, I figured. The novels for movies always do that. Even the King Kong 2005 novelization has more backstory to the characters. I read that, I think, after the movie came out back in 2005. That's just the how novels are. They're able to go into the thought process of characters that the movie can't. So you're always going to have more depth. And what you read isn't necessarily what would even be in the extended cut of the movie. Like, I keep hearing about how Madison has like PTSD in the novelization. That doesn't mean would have been in the movie, even in an extended cut. It might have been, I don't know, but that doesn't mean it would have been in there. That might be the author kind of adding his flourish to it, which is just par for the course for novelizations of movies. Imagine if Ren's anger bled into Mechagodzilla. Yeah, again, another missed opportunity. I remember in a stream when the trailer came out and we saw Ren Serizawa, and I guessed his motivation would be that he has daddy issues and he wants to take it out on Godzilla. Apparently I was right, because it's that obvious. And they couldn't even bother to have that in the movie. The most obvious basic character motivation, just cut it. I sound so petty, like I hate this movie, but I don't. I don't hate this movie. I've watched it twice already, and bits and pieces over and over again. I like it a lot. It's just I have some issues with it. I like it as a dumb monster brawl movie. I have PTSD from Madison ruining half the movie. Fair enough. Would I like to see Ren Serizawa again as the main villain? I don't know. I think that bridge has been crossed, because he's dead. Now they could retcon it and say that he's just kind of got injured and he has some brain problems, but I don't know. Just don't even bother with that anymore. If you're going to distance yourself, just go all the way. I feel like Godzilla vs. Kong just didn't have much explanation throughout the movie. Yeah, again, they cut out all the fat to the bare essentials in order to get on with it because people complained in the previous movies that they didn't get on with it. Just get to the monster fights. Well, this is what happens when you get to the monster fights. You get a very entertaining and well-made, dumb, kind of hollow movie. Monsterverse needs a miracle right now because it's in jeopardy. I believe it is phase one completed and should continue. Maybe get a crossover. I think it's no longer in jeopardy in terms of like box office appeal, but it is in jeopardy in terms of like rights issues. So we'll see how it plays out. I love the film for bringing an ambitious blend of science fiction and fantasy. I want to see more of the Hollow Earth. Yeah, that's definitely a valid point to make. That's what I like about the movie too. It is very fantastical. You know, so fantastical that apparently you can analyze a completely foreign energy source and decode it and then transmit it via Wi-Fi all the way up to Hong Kong from the center of the Earth. That is the thing that actually happens in this movie. That makes no sense. Again, cartoon logic. Kong can jump from aircraft carrier to aircraft carrier without utterly demolishing them. I know there was a meme when that image of Godzilla and Kong fighting the aircraft carrier came out, and they're like, how is it supporting them? Movie doesn't care about that. If you're thinking about that, then you're in the wrong mindset. I feel like Mechagodzilla was not Mechagodzilla. I don't know if it was just me, but I didn't feel the excitement when I saw the iconic atomic breath stand up. I just felt that it wasn't Mechagodzilla. It's definitely... I could see where you're coming from because it doesn't feel like classically Mechagodzilla. Like even the other versions of Mechagodzilla, like in the Heisei era and Kiryu, still feel like Mechagodzilla. This one feels different, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just it's different, and whether you like that or not is up to you. That Cure Fight gave me Ava memories. Yeah, Adam Wingard hasn't said that that's a reference to Ava. I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but I don't know if it is. Did you like the scene where Mechagodzilla was approaching the dude when he was talking to Madison? It was fine. Kind of cliche, but this movie deals in cliches, particularly that storyline. Also, can we talk about how Apex, for being like the most top of the line, like biggest tech corporation, has the worst security? I was watching it with a friend, and he said that the place that he used to work at, you would have to shut your computer off when you left it, so that people couldn't steal information. And Apex doesn't even have that. Worst, like, again, cartoon logic. Madison and them are just able to walk into Apex and sneak around. That's the kind of stuff I see in Godzilla the series. But that's a cartoon for kids. This is a live action movie for kids, which again you have to remember when you're watching it. I feel like we didn't see Godzilla a lot in the movie. I think we saw him a lot. He has more screen time than he did in the other movies, by far. And it's like, there's never a time where he doesn't appear on screen. It's like 20 minutes. Like, even King of the Monsters had long extended periods where he wasn't on screen. Whereas this movie did not have that. When they defeated Mechagodzilla with alcohol. Yeah, that was dumb. Alright, everybody. I wasn't planning on this being like a full 2-hour stream. We're just going to be here for about an hour, and it's been over an hour, so I think I'm going to call it a night. I think we've had a pretty good discussion. about Godzilla vs Kong. I think I went over what I liked and what I didn't like, all the nitpicks. Corpse of Bryan Cranston becomes Biollante. So, thanks to everybody who came to the stream. I was not expecting it to be this big. We still have almost 400 people in here. I guess in hindsight, I should have expected this, but you know, we be dumb sometimes. Thanks to everybody who gave super chats tonight. I was not expecting that many. Like, I really appreciate it. I wasn't asking for it, so it really humbles me a lot that people are value my content enough, in my opinion, enough to give anything, whether it be like 99 cents or 14.99, whatever it was. I really appreciate it. And even if you didn't super chat, obviously, I appreciate you being here. I have a cat knocking on my door who wants to eat. She's hungry. So I think we're gonna call it a night. I'll see you guys in the next stream. We have something special coming on this Friday, which you'll hear an announcement for in the morning tomorrow. So stay tuned to that. Until then, watch Godzilla vs Kong a bunch of times so we get more movies. If you have HBO Max, or in theaters, however you can, just watch the movie a lot. Watch the awesome fight scenes. Forget about the stupid, goofy stuff going on in it. Just have a good time.